I'm Paulina Leiser, producer of Focus Today. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to check our other videos at theDove.us.
Welcome back to Focus Today, and delighted to have back with us Bryan Crabtree. He's the publisher of Talk40.com, and boy, you can see his writings in townhall.com, clashdaily.com, and dailycaller.com. And he's a fellow radio talk show host. That means he's a cool dude. How you doing, Bryan? Good to see you.
Doing great. I'm up here for the festivities in Washington, D.C. I guess I should call it chaos.
Yeah, give us a description. Where are you there? What's going on?
Well, I'm just outside of the Capitol area right now. I'm about to journey my way in. I'm staying just steps from the Capitol, so I'll be right in the thick of things. Been a lot of plots that have been uncovered to disrupt a number of the inaugural balls, and really traffic here is amazing. I drove in this morning from just outside of the D.C. metro area, and everyone's at home. No one's out. They're not getting anywhere near this unless they're essential government employees, it appears.
Well, here you go. What's your take on the demonstrations, and have you seen any of those kinds of things going on now?
They're here. There's nothing major, but there's more of the on-ramp or the runway for what they'd planned to start tonight and tomorrow. There was the Hispanic Society, I think, Hispanic Veterans event. It was an inaugural ball that got canceled at the Marriott Marquis. They were going to put some sort of acid gas into the vents and release it, which would have caused skin irritation, eyes, and really been a mess. They were going to have some Trump officials at the event, but the Secret Service said no one's going to be able to come to this event because we can't secure the perimeter and we can't ensure that something won't happen there. There's also the Deplorables Ball, and there's been a plot uncovered there. I better call them troublemakers here, that are organizing, but we don't yet know what we're going to see. I suspect there will be some displays, a number of protesters. Will they actually create damage? They're putting a lot of effort forth. I'm not sure if it'll happen.
Bryan, I know this is a simple question, but it's just confusing. What do these people want? What do the demonstrators want? What are they trying to get with all of this?
Revenge, disruption, problems. Liberal thinking in this regard is that if I want to get attention for my matter or my subject, then what I have to do is create damage that people will talk about, and that will perpetuate my point, whatever that point is. There's a number of points. The main one in D.C. this weekend is that Donald Trump is a bigot and a racist, and he shouldn't be president of the United States. They lost, and so now they're going to try to keep America's focus on this subject so that we will regret putting this man in the White House. That's what they want. They will not be successful.
Okay, let's go over to President Obama's last couple of hours. We don't know what he'll do today, but we've seen some of these pardons and the communing of incredible people, and most importantly, that of Manning, of espionage, where he takes on the role of, I guess, judge and jury, that he served long enough, so we should let him out, him or her, whatever you want to go with that. It's been said that he may be complicit to espionage himself by letting Manning out. What do you think?
Well, I think the whole thing with Manning was about transgender activism. I don't think it had anything to do with the actual facts of the case. I think he simply wanted to make a point and bring up the subject of the fact that, this is a transgender man. I'm not sure this whole plot wasn't concocted just to bring attention to that issue. He mentioned transgender issues later, unrelated to Manning, yesterday in a press conference. Very much shows you it's at the top of his mind.
Wow. What do you think happens to the UN after all of the debacle over the security resolution against Israel?
Well, I think I'll talk, no action. Perhaps at the end of the day, it's sort of insignificant in the grand scheme of things when you think about not Israel, but the UN and the grand scheme of things that Trump and his administration have to fix. And I would say on top of that, I can't say it enough, Nikki Haley is also all talk, no action. In fact, the action she takes is usually damaging. So I'll bite my tongue as to how she'll perform as UN ambassador. But if it's anything like she has as the state of South Carolina governor, I wouldn't get my hopes up there.
All right, so what do you think then is the relationship between Trump and the press these days, and where is it going since he's a tweeter?
I was listening to some of the local talk shows here or news stations here in Washington, D.C. this morning in the car, and they were discussing the fact that they ultimately want to let in people like you and me, especially people like me that have an opinion, and that we're not journalists. And that's a bad thing, because it's hard to tell between the journalist and the people who have an opinion. But the journalists want to have an opinion, and it shows in their writing. And I think what Trump is saying to them is basically, without making it a quid pro quo, is either straighten up, or I'm going to infiltrate this press corps with Breitbart and all of these other big national outlets that are bloggers and radio talk show hosts. And I don't think that necessarily has to happen, but I think that's what he's trying to do, is put pressure on them to shape up a little bit. And I think ultimately there will be some new faces inside the White House covering the Trump administration. That'll be probably conservative. But I think he'll be fair, because the White House press corps, unlike the national media in a sense, the corps itself is a very strong, well-entrenched organization. And this White House is going to need them one way or the other. He's going to have to walk a tightrope with it.
It's been said that President Trump will have a cabinet meeting before the parade. What do you think?
Yeah, I hear they're having a lunch as well just after the inauguration. So the inauguration, if I'm not mistaken, is 11:20 Eastern time tomorrow on Friday. There's some sort of lunch in between, and the parade likely starts about 1:15. There's also the big question, will Trump get out and walk in the parade? There's a small section where the Secret Service can provide the ultimate security, and he may actually get out of the car and walk. Personally, I hope he doesn't.
Yeah, interesting. Well, Bryan, let's stay in touch. Let's talk about this after the inauguration. Be safe, my friend, and look forward to your input and opinion on the other side of the inauguration. God bless you, pal. All right, we'll be right back. Coming up next, our good friend Bryan Platt. We'll be right back.